Hi everyone, thank you for joining Latoken online fundraising event. I'd like to introduce you to Nadia Nesterova.
Hello, everybody. Today we are hosting this event online roadshow, fundraising in the era of pandemic. We have very notable speakers today and panelists and judges and projects. And I will introduce you to a brief program of today. My name is Nadia Nesterova. I'm doing fundraising and investor relations and have 17 experience in this field with the leading GPs in private equity, real estate, and hedge funds, and also an independent director of the National Alternative Investment Management Association. We have here our speakers. It's Frank Stefan, Managing Director and co-founder of CapTech Partners, Adrian Niculescu, Regional Director of UK and Romania, Foster Capital, and Daniel Mark Harrison, founder and managing partner of Monkey Capital. And today we'll discuss fundraising in the era of pandemic. So, what are the most promising niches, sectors for starting business in the current environment? Which opportunities and different types of investors look for? And many other hot questions we are facing now in the new reality. After this panel discussion, we'll start online pitch competition where we have 4 projects represented with the following companies: the football app, Hacken AI, and Space AZ and Contrade. During this 5-minute pitch session for each company, our judges will be evaluating their performance in their special forms and give their feedback after the session, and we'll get the winner afterwards. So let's start our panel discussion, and I give the floor to Frank Stefan, Managing Director and co-founder of CapTech Partners. Hello, Frank.
Hi there. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for inviting me. I guess we should all give a short introduction to what we're doing and then we get going in the session. Okay.
Just give a brief introduction of yourself.
Great, perfect. I'm Frank Stefan. I'm founder managing director of CapTech. CapTech is, I would say, kind of a mixture of the people that we probably have here. So we are on the one hand more on the startup side. So we are a software development firm, and on the other side, we are also an asset management firm. And our main product is currently called Lendery. It's available under lendery.net. It's basically a fixed income product that allows users to do margin funding on crypto exchanges. So to lend dollars to traders on crypto exchanges. So we are kind of at the juncture between technology and asset management. So I'm super excited to hear from you guys and to contribute to the discussion. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Yes, thank you for such an introduction, Frank. And what new opportunities do you see in this area of pandemic?
Yeah, so I would say tailoring a business model now to the pandemic might already be too late. Other than it's a, I don't know, quickly ramped up web app or mobile app or something. But I think if you found a business, you should always follow a multi-year plan because any business that is truly successful probably takes 5 to 10 years, maybe decades. And I think the general trends that we have been in before Corona, which right now almost no one, of course, talks about anymore, are still there. So if you're active in the field of I know, personalized medicine and aging society and solutions for that, or AI, robotics, everything that has to do with data analytics, the whole SaaS business models, and so on, I would recommend anyone not stop working in those fields, but persisting that somehow we will get to the other side of this. So I wouldn't pick a different niche just because it's Corona now.
Yes, and what would you advise to the companies in transition?
Yeah, so I would advise, and since the topic today is fundraising, I would advise everyone that thinks about fundraising now is in the need of fundraising should first start fund saving. So I think right now it's super important. Keeping cash together and making sure to plan for an as long run rate as possible to really prioritize at the core levers or the core principles of the business and maybe postpone things that might be nice to have but are not essential for the business. I think that's critical right now for the next month and maybe a year or 2 years even.
Okay, thank you for starting our panel discussion. And we move on to Adrian Niculescu. Thank you. We'll keep addressing you questions, Frank. Adrian.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to this event. My name is Adrian Niculescu. Very short about me. I'm a full-time entrepreneur and very active in the venture capital world. I'm representing Faster Capital here at this event. Also, I'm involved as a mentor in the Virgin Startups program. I work for the CloudCoin Consortium as CMO and involved in other projects. It's not about me, of course, just a short introduction. Can I start answering to the questions because
Yes,
I have them here to
yeah,
save time. I would say that the most promising niches are the ones related to something I I was preaching for many years, this remote type of work. And anybody or any company should look at the level of its digitalization. So I believe very successful will be the tools to help companies to digitalize themselves, tools related to what we are doing here. By the way, Zoom had an amazing increase on the stock of Zoom had an amazing increase. And even there is another company called Zoom Technologies, and some people traded Zoom Technologies instead of Zoom Video Technologies. And for the moment, Zoom Technologies was withdrawn from the trading system to avoid this confusion. It's 1st of April today, and if you saw Coin Market Cap in the morning, the first coin there is a toilet paper token or something like that. I would not start a toilet paper business because, um, but this could be a niche. I would say everything ethical related to blockchain and crypto, and especially crypto exchanges, could be started. I saw on LinkedIn various professionals from VC companies saying that the fundraising is also in lockdown. I would say that if you want to reach a VC these days, most of very important VCs work from home, so it's much easier than in the rest of the year when everybody's going to events, meetings to reach them at home and maybe to get a feedback because they have more time today than in other periods. And I see I see smiles. And as Frank said, I would not necessarily switch to something else, to another niche, but anybody with a good team and some money could start very fast a project like to deliver food, um, to to help companies to start taking orders online and things like that, and to create new platforms which could become the next big thing. And not don't for let's not forget that during the last, let's say, crisis, and because maybe it happens now can transform into a real crisis. And in the previous crisis, pretty big companies were bored. So let's stick with the eyes on the opportunities. Thank you very much.
Yes, and do you think that the community of startups going out of business could also be an investable opportunity?
People buy usually from people they know, like, and trust. If I have a community of people online, an email list, a Facebook group, a Telegram group who know, like, and trust me, even if I fail with a project, maybe that project not to have their money invested in the wrong thing. So let's say if I have a software as a service or something like that, and if I fail with that project, I can always use the community and the credibility in front of the community to launch something else. So I believe 100% it's something investable. If the people behind the community are ethical, And if that community, I'm repeating myself, if they know, like, and trust the team behind the failed project.
Yes, that's a very fair comment, of course. And I would also recommend, if you would like to ask questions to one another when you hear some comments of one another, that would also be great. And now, thank you. Um,
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Adrian. And I'm giving the floor to Daniel Mark Harrison.
Hi there.
Yeah, hello, Daniel.
That's
Would
good.
you
Hi
share
there.
your views on today's discussion
Sure,
as well?
sure. Okay, so I'm Daniel. I founded Monkey Capital. We own a sort of variety of assets. We've been through it all from 2017 when we put out I think it's the fastest climbing cryptocurrency ever, which also got us a lawsuit, which we won. Then on with the innovation, we've developed blockchain and a variety of messaging application and social network technologies in the interim 3 years. So a lot of work. So I have an understanding of what it's like to be both in a position where you have access to a lot of fundraising and where you have access to none. And it's definitely superficially easier to have access to fundraising. Whether it actually makes a difference in terms of the innovation, I'm not convinced there's a correlation. I think the more money you put into the innovation process, actually, the worse the innovation tends to get. So the one thing to focus on, if you are sitting there and you're thinking, how do I access funds, is you want to access a limited pool of funds, ideally. If you do get the opportunity to tap into capital markets, don't take on too much, don't take on more than you're ready. This is a really key point because it will kill the end solution. The real solutions come out, there's no substitute for time and work done on innovation, absolutely none. And people can say, well, it's all about marketing. It's not really. It's about a great product. I mean, it's a great product will absolutely surpass any form of PR, marketing, capital raising. With that said, how would I treat this particular pandemic? Probably no differently to any other time, because if you don't have any money, getting money is very, very tough to do. But the one thing I would probably do, I do agree a lot with what Adrian was just saying about this digitization, virtualization tech. That's absolutely, I mean, look at this conference. It's online and, it's not in a sort of auditorium. Things are going to go a lot more towards that way. What you're doing here is so, I thought it was just so interesting because it's going to be the genesis of what we're going to see more and more and more. Companies have for the longest time been wanting to virtualize completely because it's a lower overhead. So you're going to get that anyway, and people will just start doing it in Corona period, and then they'll go on and they'll keep doing it. So, and they'll use that as the reason, oh, it started in Corona. But really they wanted this, this is probably about 5 years overdue. I would agree that that's probably a mechanism of fundraising you want to focus on. So how you can virtually attract, credible investors. When I say credible investors, I think for the word credible to actually mean anything, KYC, verified personalities, is a very important part of it. So having a lot of anonymous investors, which you shouldn't do anyway, because you're going to get that's going to cause you a lot of headaches further down the line. Knowing your investor is going to be a very important part of things going forward, definitely, and is an important part now. Know who your investor is. Even if necessary, you should be taking down some details. How much money do you have invested in stocks? How much do you have invested in this? If it's an individual, even an accredited one, just ask him the questions. How much do you have? Just so that you know whether that investor's profile is suitable, to target as an investor. This is very important for people who are marketing into communities, I think. So just having someone's name, address is good. What's best is to know a little bit about them before you're taking their capital. In terms of ways in which to access that, well, like I say, if you can start some sort of conferences like this are great. If you were looking to raise capital, I would immediately get together your friends and hold a conference like this, especially if one or two of them are big. Everyone knows one or two massive developers, right? Everyone in blockchain after, I would say, 2 years of working in it. If you don't, then you're probably not ready to raise capital. So you must know one or two big developers who do you a favor and you go, would you mind speaking at this panel thing? They would say yes. If you're at that, that's a good litmus test for whether you're ready to raise capital as well. Do you know anyone who has pulling power to bring people in to come and watch something that you put on? Then put on an event or whatever that's not related to your fundraising necessarily. It can be, doesn't have to be, but you know, an event of interest, and you'll be able to meet investors. Really, that process is about getting that. I mean, the most successful investor introduction exercises I've done, and I've started a chat room with no one in it and had 5,000 investors in there, all investing. So I'm familiar with the process. Is engage with them personally, get to know them, get to know what their requirements are, why they're investing. This will produce so much more investor attrition. I think there's a lot of big sort of almost generic marketing exercise that's done today, where people kind of spam links out, you know, over LinkedIn or whatever. You kind of get annoyed with it, and it's never going to produce $1 of investment income. What produces investment income is these personal relationships, and you can build those quickly, but they have to be done sort of effectively and interpersonally. So probably, but I think what your question is, what to do in the pandemic, is an interesting one, because it's not about the pandemic itself. It's about the way the pandemic will take things after this, which will be, you know, which will service a much more virtual environment, as Adrian was saying, and that's something you might want to think about seizing on. That would be those would be my most pertinent comments. I would also say that don't take for granted any existing technology that's out there in spaces like blockchain and think it's there forever. CoinMarketCap, easily replaceable. I mean, the fact that there's this deal with Binance going on just shows how little volume there is in the market. There's nothing. They have to join up. They wouldn't be joining up. Guaranteed they would not be joining up if they were throwing off cash like it was 2017. They were getting all these ad revenue. They're not getting any money. So, you know, they want to join up. So everything is vulnerable at the moment, and everything can be replaced. It may be easier to try and design a better technology, not copy CoinMarketCap. I'm not saying that, not like one of those copycat solutions. I'm saying do something completely different that does the same thing, but more. You know, if you can think in that way, so you take a standardized model that does the same thing, but does it in a much better way that's going to scale out towards a broader market, I think then you can really target some mainstream players. This is an exciting time. If you're an innovator, excellent time. And it's probably a more exciting time to innovate, you know, than to capital raise. The amount, because once you innovate a good solution, you will raise a ton of money without even having to try.
Yeah, that's true, Daniel. Thank you so much for such an extensive and in-depth instructions for our panelists who will pitch further on. Frank, Adrian, do you want to address any of the questions today as well? Do you also think that retail investors won't be that easily substitute the institute money, as Daniel referred to? Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, totally agree with Daniel's. Yeah, two main points. First of all, product is the most important thing. You have to have a good product, otherwise don't go out there at all. And the second one is, since fundraising is always hard, maybe the magnitude of being a bit harder now, you won't even feel so much because it's anyway super hard. But I would say probably that it might be a bit harder raising money because you ask from retail investors or let's say angel investors, and then let's say from some of the venture capital funds who have closed rounds last year and still have dry powder or haven't invested yet. Actually, they might be in a good competitive position should those funds exist. And then compared to, let's say, very family offices or also corporate VCs who might have been hit hard by the equity crash. So yeah, if I would choose, I would probably focus on those VCs where you know that there is cash there, and if you have, as Daniel said, a really good and compelling product, which is not only here for a pandemic situation, but which is here for the usual needs that people have worldwide. Once they are alive, then you go ahead and pitch your product.
Okay, and do you expect a pickup in interest in investing in consolidation and roll-up plays, or maybe?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, of course, every economist would say that probably you will have a lot of consolidation roll-up plays. I'm also expecting some would say specialized financing providers like factoring companies or short-term high-yield debt providers and stuff like that. Maybe even search funds who put managers in distressed assets now. So I would expect something like that. Yeah, the question is always how long will the situation last? How large will these industries be? My guess is that this is rather temporary, and yeah, I'm not sure, as I said, as a founder, if I would change anything fundamentally in my business now, apart from surviving surviving the whole situation and getting through.
Okay, thank you, Frank. And Adrian, would you like something to add?
I was looking at your question about if can retail investors substitute institutional money when markets shut down. I'm very curious about, because I like to speak from practice, I'm very curious on what will happen with WeWork, because it's expected that SoftBank to honor an agreement started in October. And I believe until a certain level, the retail investors for sure can substitute, and there are already platforms allowing retail investors to put money in middle projects, in small middle projects, not in big projects. But this could be an opportunity for somebody to start something like that, because also the investment space is in the, I would say, democratization phase. So the little people have access to put money where the big guys are putting their millions and billions.
And what would you advise those retail investors? Because, you know, venture capital firms, they do strict due diligence. They have very sophisticated teams. What would you advise to these retail investors while investing through these platforms?
You need to study continually the market. Most of the resources, if you know how to search, they are available online. I will follow those big VCs and looking at what they are doing, in what projects are investing, which are the returns. So it's a learning curve. Now everything is available on YouTube, on events like this, but of course you need to put your own effort, to put your own time, because nobody will hand you the best deals to put them in your pocket. You need to find a way to learn the ropes of this industry, and you will be able to decide for yourself. I don't think there is another way.
Hello guys, sorry for interrupting. Am I allowed to say something into the round?
Okay, just do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. I know I'm not here involved into this panel discussion, but I hear so many things. I'm quite involved into the whole investment scene. I'm working with several venture capitalists, even some bigger ones in the States, family offices advising, stuff like this. You are right from a special perspective. You've said, for example, you've mentioned ethics. Ethics is super important, but it changes. I mean, look after 9/11. Before 9/11, we had another ethic. Then after 9/11, before Corona, we had another ethic. Then now, where medicals are forced to decide whom to care about and whom simply let to die. So this is an important issue, and it changes. And it changes due to our own needs. Concerning investment, it's really fun. I'm advising several funds where we simply identified that we need to have a totally different investment landscape. In Europe, especially where we are very protected, our all investment is totally crap. I'm always said when I need to give an advice to one of my startups to leave Europe and to go to the US, because instead of negotiating about 200,000 euros, they can get 4 million in the US. So we are not curious enough. We are not brave enough. And it doesn't matter if it's a pandemic situation or whatever. if you have a good idea, you can get your money everywhere. And just hopping onto something just because of Corona or whatever is not helpful. We need the right friends. And the most important thing for the future, what will really change, is we need to start thinking in ecosystems, not in competition, working together. You've mentioned, for example, these remote working things. I love them, but there will be not one survivor, not just one. We need to take these puzzle pieces of helpful things and having a virtual presence with an RPA or CPA with huge collaboration platforms. This is the thing that will arise right now.
That was a great comment. So, and
can I just interrupt a bit?
Yes, thank you, Andy. Just continue.
I just want to point out a few things. I'm not sure how many of you are in Asia. You know, I'm still stuck in Singapore right now, and I can't travel. Okay, I saw Daniel's
not bad in Singapore to be.
It's not bad. It's not bad. No. You know, but I travel almost half a month every time, you know, for the last 3 years. So I'm kind of not so comfortable here. But I just want to share a bit of my opinion, you know, in terms of how the fundraising is done. You know, whether it's the pandemic or not pandemic, you know, fundraising is ongoing, right? Whether you're sitting in front of a PC right now or whether you're meeting someone, fundraising is something that is ongoing. So my perspective is this, you know, like 2 days ago, I met up with a representative from a Dubai fund in Singapore. You know, they have a 1 billion fund and they are looking at restructuring traditional companies. They even told me about one of their high flux deal that they went into. So to me is that I think there are still a lot of money out there, you know, when we talk about good startups and good projects. Many of these advisors that I know, you know, they connect me on LinkedIn and they started to tell me that, you know, the whole place is in a mess and they can't get good investors. I just want to emphasize to some of them who could be listening to this is that maybe their project is not good enough, you know. So we just need to innovate during these bad times, you know, put up a better technical solution, work with a better technical solution provider, you know. So I'm also coming from a project standpoint. I'm a CEO of a Descent group that is founded in 2015. You know, I look at projects that are like that can go long term because they have a good reputation, they have a good solution that is in the market. So that is based on what I see, you know, as a smaller guy in Asia, you know, compared to all of you.
That's perfect comment. Gianpaolo, maybe you also add something because we're shifting to our judging panel. Gianpaolo?
Yes, good day everyone. I'm Gianpaolo Parigi, venture capitalist and chairman of a single family office. Well, I have agreed with most of the comments that I've heard today, and some of them on the future trends are quite fitting, I think, especially the fact that definitely coronavirus is a pandemic, but it's not a war, and it's not as tragic as a war, both in terms of casualties and for the fact that there is no reconstruction to do. Infrastructure is there, old systems are there. We are still operating, working thanks to telecommunications and the energy and the power that are being supplied. So far, so good. So I think that the market will surge with the rapidity that it's unprecedented, because we've never had a situation like this of a crisis that's not just a financial crisis, because this is slightly more serious because it affects people's lives, unfortunately, and it affects people in the pockets. But at the same time, it is neither a war, because again, there's no reconstruction to perform on the country's economies. I mean, everything is there. Obviously, there will be a different ratios of debt to GDP of the individual countries, because all countries have been better. At present, I am stuck in Rome. You know, Italy has been heavily affected, but the situation, I mean, I see businesses going on as usual, thanks to the telecommunications, and people are quite organized, and they respect the government order. And I think it's pretty much the same, at least in the West and in most countries in Asia and America for sure. So I think that there's a great opportunity, but definitely this event of the Corona, as other major events in the past, will teach us something new. And I agree with Jay, there's ethics do evolve, and that there will be not a paradigm shift, but maybe a minor tweak and veering of a few degrees in the route of a lot of activities. Obviously, groups that have been hedging in this moment are better off tomorrow to take advantage, as who I think it was Frank has spoke about some opportunistic funds coming around. And I've been invited to participate myself in a few exercises. I think that more than opportunistic funds, because opportunistic funds can be seen as hostile takeovers attempt, and they are not very much liked by the entrepreneurial community for sure, and they're not liked either by a lot of the financial players. I myself didn't want to do a hostile takeover in my life. I had many chances to do, and I of course resist hostile attempts on companies where I participate with my group. Having said that, I think Jay also made an interesting point in terms of we have to think about ecosystem and cooperation, because the technology is already there for this to happen. We've already been put in a gigantic virtual loop with the social media and cellular phones first, and the social medias after internet. And I think now we are slightly but surely adapting to the fact that we should reap the rewards of the technology foundation that we've laid off. And I'm sure, I, like our friend in Singapore, I guess many of you travel more than 60-70% of my time intercontinentally. And of course, at the moment I'm stuck. But on the other end, there's still a lot of things that can go on. And I'm, assisting clients, even running a fundraising through webinars and other activities that are perfectly compatible with the technology that we have. And again, so the world goes ahead. It teaches us something new. Every new event that comes our way, like this particular crisis, but I see a lot of reshaping and tweaking in a lot of the ways we use technology that could be having some positive impacts on healthcare and logistics, because obviously food distribution, pharma distribution in this moment are pretty vital to most countries in the world. And whatever opportunity we can take to increase the efficiency of the machine, both at the food distribution and pharma distribution, drug distribution, I think will be something that we venture capitalists will be very keen to piggyback on and to analyze, to invest, and not only us venture capitalists. I think a lot of investors, sophisticated investors out there. And again, thinking about ecosystem, it's a good message. And also I wanted to give one last remark, if you leave me 30 seconds, to what Adrian said, which I find very interesting. I think the sustainability of business done through new novel types of association, like he was mentioning the Instagram groups. Obviously you can create communities that support everyone, and this is like a mirror derivative of the blockchain platform, because basically everyone keeps everyone else in check, and the community keeps itself virtuous rather than vicious, even despite obvious mistakes that all of us as entrepreneurs and investors could commit in every single moment of our activity. If they're not, let's say, ill-intended. I mean, so those are mistakes in good faith. They can happen, they can occur. So Adrian, I also share a lot of your angles on what you said. Well, thank you so much, Nadezhda, and I'll give you back the floor.
So our project just heard all the participants of the judging panel. So you have their views shared already. So you can prepare your speeches accordingly. And we start with our first speech session. And I give the floor to Steve Van Zupten, founder of the football app. Hello, Steve.
Hello, how are you?
Great, thanks.
Great.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. So your
Very
5
nice.
start.
Yeah, very nice to hear the different perspectives and great opinions. I'll take a few minutes to tell you about the football app, which implements a token called the football coin. And I'll just share with you my screen here. So we created a social network for the sport of football. It took a few years to create this app. It was a massive technical effort. And then it took about a year to do the fit to marketing before we launched it in September. So I'll show you just a few slides and then we'll look at the app for a couple of minutes. But the basic premise is that the users earn the token inside the app and they spend it at small businesses. And those small businesses are accepting the token so they can attract that new user and so that they can use that token to pay for ads within the football app. So it's how would you say, an economic loop of positive energy. So, you know, we saw that there wasn't a social network really targeted at the sport of football. The existing networks that really leveraged the attention to football are the ones we all know, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But they're not tuned to the sport or really tailored for that audience. So we saw an opportunity there. The other thing that the big networks are not doing is sharing ad revenue with the users. That is a trend that's starting now, and that's something that we've implemented using the blockchain. And the third interesting area that comes up in this is that the average person, while everyone's heard of cryptocurrency, very few people have actually participated in that because of the technical complexity and because of the difficulty of understanding the topic. It's not tangible enough to the average person. There's nowhere in the real world that they can utilize those tokens, and they don't understand how it works. So we felt that we could bring a real tokenized model to the mass market. Again, this is the model that, you know, users, the community and the merchants form a kind of feedback loop, all centered around the football app and the attention to football. And this network is now live. As I mentioned, it took some time to develop it. And then in Cyprus, which is where I'm speaking to you from, in the Mediterranean Ocean, where I live, we launched the app at the beer festival in September, just a few months ago. And we made it that you could buy beer at the September Fest using the tokens. So that was, of course, shockingly a big hit. And 5,000 people downloaded the app and actually invited friends and did activities within the app to get enough tokens to buy beers. And that's the basic background. What I'd like to do is show you a little bit of the actual app on how that really implements. This is what it looks like. And there's a social network for all 7,000 top clubs in the world. This part, as you can see, looks like Twitter, but it's all focused around a single football club. So if you click the plus sign, you're posting into that social network. It's got news and social popularity. There's a lot of football data in there, statistical data and different things. And then one of the most popular activities we have is the predictions area. People, for fun, it's a game, not betting. They make predictions on matches and they win points. And you can see there's no, as everyone knows, football's been canceled for a few weeks here, but they compete and they end up on a leaderboard. And this has been a really hit section of the app. But a theme that everybody was talking about, which is quite interesting, is that we really did kind of create a sense of community here with our app. So inside of the app, we have the equivalent of, let's say, like a Telegram chat rooms where we communicate, educate, and support each other. And you can see that in just the 100 days since we've launched, we picked up 37,000 people in Cyprus and 110,000 people around the world. And inside these chat rooms, which are pretty vibrant, there's all kinds of knowledge sharing activities, camaraderie, education. This is a trivia game where people are being paid out in the tokens. So This has kept us going, even though there's been no football activity. These groups have held the community together and actually really allowed the app to thrive, even in a situation where our usage should have dropped off to extremely low levels. The final section of the app, this is where people, they earn points, they can activate a crypto wallet in 2 clicks. And then this is they're given a few tokens, and this is we're based on the Stellar blockchain. So people come in, they earn these tokens, they convert the points they earn into the tokens, and then they click the spend button. And the spend button has over 180 businesses around the world who will accept these tokens at payment in their place of business. This is like Apple Pay, a full payment system. And so they're doing that for the reasons that I mentioned. You've got, I could go in here, I could click pay, my 12 euros and 90 cents, and I would pay 2.5 TFC. They have a register app that we created that acts like a cash register, and a real business transaction happens here. And this is essentially, there's the receipt, it rings on the other side. And now that vendor has tokens. He's got some new customers that are going to find him. And then he can use the tokens to run ads inside of the app that are on this. They're not running because this is running on a virtual machine without an IP. They're IP targeted. But we have very beautiful ad delivery within the app.
Thank you so much. So we've tried to keep strict to the timing. Thank you so much for sharing, because all the entrepreneurs, they're really eager to share all about their product. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Shall I start?
You've muted yourself. Yeah.
Yes, Dmitro.
All right. So I will start. Okay. Share my screen. Okay. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Dima Budorin, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Hacking Group. Hacking Group was established in 2017. Just give me a second. In 2017, and since then we have created different cybersecurity products and have performed various security audits in crypto and traditional IT industry. We created crowdsourced security platform with 3,000 hackers. It's called Hacking Proof, the trusted crypto exchange ranking service CER. Among our clients in crypto, it's the ones that are my favorite and I'm proud of is VeChain, Proxima X, OneLedger. In traditional world, it's AirAsia, US Department of Defense, IRF, NFX. Our partners are CoinMarketCap, Finbushi, VeChain, Cream, Crystal, Bitfury, Etherscan. It's all means that we are quite industry veterans in this thing. And in May 2019, we have decided that we need to focus on security of the most weak element in the internet. It's humans. We discovered the problem that cybersecurity is too difficult and people are lazy and unmotivated to do small security steps, and that's the black hacker community and cyber threats are growing. And that's why we decided that we need to create a one-stop app that users will want to use. And we made a decision to focus not only on security tech, but also on user experience, beautiful design and gamification elements. In our app, user starts with educational interactive content. We created more than 150 subjects that improve user security. We make sure that he learns all cybersecurity essential and that are needed to every internet user. It's like healthcare that everyone needs, especially these days. If you don't take preventive measures, then one day you can be screwed. You can compare these measures with masks and rubber gloves, for example, that people started to use massively. During the educational module, user also set up our HackingEye tools. He starts with a free cross-platform HackingEye password manager. It's unbelievable that less than 2% of total internet users are currently using password managers. Incredible market opportunity. Then he activates our darknet monitoring and alert system. We have created the biggest data leakage database in the world and continually improving it. You'll be shocked. when you see HackNI telling you old password and hopefully not the current one. By doing these small steps and setting up properly your cybersecurity, you will also receive rewards. There are 30 different achievements that you can earn, and we believe that you will want to unlock them all. Hi Mascot is kawaii cute little boy that was created with love. Each time you get an achievement, you also receive NFT collectible hat. You can exchange these hats into staking levels, and so basically you learn cybersecurity and you use our app for free. And this is just the beginning. We already started to work on other cybersecurity features. In the next version, we are going to have VPN, anti-phishing blocker, secure seed phrase storage, antivirus, security scanner, and many other things that everybody should use. Now the most popular question, why do you need token? Our answer cannot be challenged. First reason is that by using a token, we are decreasing the subscription fee to the end user by not paying Apple Store and Google Play commission. And using staking subscription model, you can effectively substitute lifetime purchase. Stake high tokens for 6 months and use app for free. Isn't it awesome? Utility token is successful when there is a user base. There are not so many B2C tokens with big market cap, but the success of the best ones is directly linked with the size of their community. BNB, Bot Engine are great examples, and we're going to be one of these examples too. Our main marketing strategy is to acquire application users and token holders through listing at new exchanges by promoting security. Another factor is that now many people will lose jobs. We are going to promote multi-level sales schemes to our third and above stakers for their additional income. Pitching HackNI to friends and colleagues is cool and fun, not like pitching referral to crypto exchanges. Believe me, you're sharing unique cybersecurity knowledge and helping others to be secure. That's a great hobby. We are having a token sale in 12 days at OceanX, VeChain ecosystem exchange. We are selling just 4% of our token supply, raising around 400K to secure costs needed for application development for next 9 months and initial marketing campaign. We are going to increase token supply little by little with every new exchange listing. Being a trusted security firm, we have built crypto networks so that it's be listed most reputable exchanges. Equity investment is also available at valuation of 10 million, but I do not recommend it because first thing is liquidity. It's a nightmare for traditional startup investors to make existence exit or even get at least some funds if the project fails. With crypto, you can do it easily at whatever stage you want. Clear metrics and conversion. More users equal more value of investment. Direct interdependence can be projected and calculated easily. And understandable marketing campaigns. If you know that the investment needs a boost, you invest in top exchanges listing 500K and you're listed at #1 exchange, and you can got immediately boost to your investment and can exit the next day. I can speak about HackNI for hours because it's my passion, my team, and my dream. Thank you for your attention, and I encourage everyone to join us today in this journey. Let's make the world safer together.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Dmitry.
much. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me jump in there just very quickly. I thought that was an excellent pitch, by the way, really excellent pitch. And I think your market scale is off the charts potentially. The one thing I would tweak, and I mean it, having said that that is an excellent pitch, is I would probably refer to it or think of it as a franchise model as opposed to MLM, because it implicitly carries more scale with that. It sounds more, I don't know, it just sounds more fitting to the I think what you've got is so massive right there that you want to think on that kind of, you know, McDonald's mentality as opposed to Amway mentality, and there's a slight difference, you know, with the way that that kind of sales and marketing is approached. But that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And,
do I have time to answer, or like how does it work?
Yes.
If you've got a response.
Yeah, we actually do franchise. We build franchise model for our B2B products because we have quite a lot of B2B SaaS things that we sell. But in B2C, we think that it is important, you know, to have one unique user base, and that people will see that with its growth, like everybody is benefiting. So
affiliate, you could say affiliate. I mean,
yeah, affiliate. Yeah, multi-level referral is sometimes
I think you
a little bit toxic to
this
say.
model will grow anyway. Yeah. Everyone wants this product anyway. I mean, in my view, I'm you know, I know a lot of people who just use this product anyway. I think you're going to have tremendous success. I think it's a really good.
Thank you, sir. Our beta testing is live. We receive hundreds of compliments, and yes, we can't wait to release it to the world. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You can also, then we'll go to the feedback session as well. So all the judges, please, and investor panel participants, please make your notes for each project, and we'll get back to the discussion then afterwards as well. And I give a floor to Venkatesh Krishnamurthy, STO at Space IZ. Venkatesh, you can start.
Hi there, I'm Venkatesh. And I started my career basically in emerging marketing and emerging technologies. Right now, we have come up with a new concept of Space. So let me just share my screen quickly because I have a video to play as well. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so basically Spaces is it's a space where you can combine co-working and co-living. It's a new concept in the emerging property market. Now, what we do is we try and combine the residents along with the co-workers, and we try to get them into one space where we can build a community. Now, why exactly we want to be doing it is it is very convenient for those tech geeks or freelancers or highly educated skilled immigrants who want to come into a new country. Now, what happens here is when they move into a new place, they find it very lonely, or they don't have people to interact, or they don't have the right community. So what we have come up with is we want to create a community where we have co-working people and we have co-living people. So with this, this will eliminate loneliness and tackle depression, which is very much common in places like London and Europe. And this would bring a community where they can actually share their ideas, they can interact, they can live together, and they can conduct events and do much more than just being lonely and that ways. So how exactly Spaces is being distinct is we provide quality spaces where everyone would have a shared space. So they would have their individual en-suite space along with a workspace. And the added features that we would have is with our Spaces app. Now, in our app, we would onboard all our community members. Now, when we onboard all our community members, they would be given a Spaces token. Now, with the Spaces token, they can actually rent out spaces with discounts. And the more tokens that they hold, they will have more discount tiers. We have a tiered structure of discounts, which would increase as they tend to acquire more tokens, and more tokens give them more discounts. Now, we have created our blockchain platform, and we have created our ERC20 token as well. That's what we have done in the past 3 months. It's a new project, and it's pretty much new because I don't think many are doing it at the moment. Right now, we have I think we have the Collective and Co-Live, basically, who are based in UK, and one is based in India, and they are in this space, and they are not leveraging on blockchain technology. And since we have a good experience in this technology, so we are just trying to leverage on it by creating a token, so that we can also move into this blockchain space with this new market. Now, so let me tell you about the token benefits for holders. So token holders will be able to get discounted rates. Apart from that, there is premium offerings that we give to all our customers. Now, in case there is someone who wants to have mobility, or they just want to move from one location to another location, and they keep traveling a lot, which most of them do at the moment. So at this point of time, with the current market scenario, students and even upcoming entrepreneurs, they don't want to they don't want to have possessions of properties or something of that sort. They just want to be they just want to explore more. They want to move around the planet. They want to interact with more people. They want to do all of that. So let's say someone puts in like 400,000 pounds with us, they would be considered a premium customer. And let's say he wants to move, he wants to stay in UK for 6 months, then he can actually get a space just allocated for him. And if he wants to move to Moscow, or if he wants to move to the US, he will have one space allocated for him at every location. Now, how this would work is, if he's in UK for 6 months and then he decides to move in US, so the contract with him in UK would end, and then he would have the space in US, or it could be in India, or it could be in Moscow, wherever he wants to move. So this just makes it more mobile for upcoming entrepreneurs. And now, how exactly we plan on expanding is we would want to partner with those who are already in this space, in this business, as there is a lot of there's a lot of scope for this market. And the only thing is that it's not I mean, the people who are in this space are not leveraging on blockchain technology or Ethereum smart contract. And they don't know about tokens. So we have created the token, and we have created a deck just for them, so that we can introduce this to them, and we can onboard them on our platform. Obviously, where we have a lot of demand and there are a lot of businesses involved and a lot of entrepreneurs in that particular region, we might want users to hold more tokens. And yes, we have our mobile application. So in our mobile application, what we would want to do is, let's say there is a person who wants to buy our token, but is not staying in that particular location, or does not want to use his token. He can actually trade it, or he can rent it out in our application. And the person who wants to use this particular token can buy it from there, and he can leverage on it by renting it. And by doing this, what happens is, the discounts that would be available for the actual owner of the token, that would be passed on to the person who wants to buy it. Now we have room swaps, wherein if there's a user who wants to swap rooms for his friends living at another location, he can actually share his room with him, or he can even swap rooms that ways, so that either both of them benefit. So let's say he is staying in a room in UK, and there's another person staying in US, and he's paying for the rent with our tokens. He would obviously get it at a discounted rate, but again, he can swap that room with his friend, and both of them can leverage on their shared space. And so I have a video I would want to quickly play.
Residential sector. Co-living is all about renting a private space with shared facilities such as office spaces, living areas, community halls, gyms, pools, and restaurants. The growth of co-living helps address many problems that are affordability, population mobility, and importantly, loneliness. Hence, the community of co-living sector is emerging rapidly and attracting billions in capital. However, co-living spaces are only successful with a great community. Here, members benefit from the shared space as it expands. Spaces is building a co-living, linking them to co-working spaces to create a global community. How? Spaces is creating an ecosystem using blockchain technology to connect its customers. We circulate the utility token, providing access to token holders for renting co-living and co-working spaces at discounted rates. Discounts will be based on a tiered structure, wherein more tokens held enable larger discounts over time. This would work as a saving for members. Now, what if one holds tokens and cannot access a space's location? Need not worry. The Spaces ecosystem is designed in such that all tokens enough tokens to receive the first tier of discounts. However, Joe wishes to qualify for the second tier of discounts. Joe could buy tokens from the listed market, but decides to rent tokens from the smart contract. Joe transfers money as per smart contract. Tokens are assigned to Joe based on time period as mentioned in contract. Wondering how the smart contract gets the required tokens? Let's say Bella from Spaces community holds tokens in her wallet. Bella doesn't require a room, so wishes to benefit by renting out her tokens. She simply sends her tokens to the smart contract, and these tokens would be held according to the time period specified by her. Once the time period expires, the smart contract validates tokens owed to Bella and calculates the rewards based on the same. Isn't that pretty cool? The process of Spaces will be smooth and frictionless with the Spaces app, buying and selling tokens to rent rooms and administer them along with a reward mechanism. The beauty of our ecosystem is that as we grow, everyone in the community grows. Our discounting mechanism at Spaces would encourage individuals to buy or rent more tokens from the market. This activity would support prices, rewarding token holders as well. Spaces token encourages loyalty to engage with its community. Rewarded by the success of Spaces, we plan on growing organically by word of mouth. Stay tuned for our next video to find out more on how you can own shared spaces in different locations and leverage on room swaps without purchasing one particular shared space.
Thank you so much, Venkatesh. And we have one more project to present. It's Stanislav.
I just wanted to jump in there. How much are you raising, by the way?
Can we do the questions afterwards? Because we'll have
a
panel. Otherwise, we won't we won't have our timing right. Stanislav, you can put notes. Daniel, you can put notes, and you see in the group chat, Andy is already writing some points if you want to write the key points, and you then address it during the Q&A session. Okay, Stanislav.
Okay. Yeah.
Stanislav Zavershinsky, CEO and co-founder of Comtrade. Please start. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a moment. Yeah. Hi, we are Comtrade, and we are already saved a lot of money for plastic trading company. My name is Tas. I'm co-founder of Comtrade, and we are B2B software for raw material traders. It takes seconds to buy a simple thing like a pen, but to produce it and produce many other plastic things around us, companies need to buy and deliver polymers and spend over 40 hours of employees' work on this process each time. Why? Because the deals and shipments are a mess. I came from polymer trading industry. How this process look like in our trading company, in companies of our colleagues, and in other 30K US polymers traders. When we had to buy and deliver polymers for our manufacturing, we had to grab the phone, open Excel tables, send tons of documents by emails, and go to meetings. This is how traders are doing business. And this is ineffective for us and for our colleagues. We are tired of it. And we created Comtrade, SaaS solution that cuts 25% of employees' ineffective work time by automating, tracking, and streamline workflows between the contractors. We calculate that it saves over $1,000 per deal. An average trading company makes over 50 deals monthly. So we can provide monthly savings over $50,000 for each company. For this, we charge $1,000 in monthly subscription for a basic product. And we will go deeply in automation of the business. It is cheaper than big enterprise CRM systems, and our product is specifically designed for polymer trading industry. There are some specific of the polymers. The market is very huge, but it is very interconnected. We go to market through our network and affiliate partnership program because our solution fully works between the contractors. Now, after New York Acceleration Program, we are finalizing a pilot with a plastic trader, and in the next months, we will onboard customers from ready pipeline of companies. We are looking for pre-seed round of 100K for finishing 7 more pilots in target market and reach over 75K annual revenue. Then in next autumn, we will go on the seed round. We are targeting on the distributed ecosystem for fully automated raw material trading process. With this core technology, we can go to another related markets like oil products, metals, and grains, and also we can launch marketplace for our customers. With this product line, our exit strategy is acquiring by big enterprise software, or we can be public offering. My partner owns a commodity trading company and has a Morgan Stanley background and market network. My experience is IT management in big technological company and launching startups. We engaged a strong advisory board of experienced commodity players from US, Russian, and global markets. Thank you very much. My name is Tas. I'm co-founder of Comtrade, and welcome on board of Hustle Technologies for Commodity Hustlers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we have all the pitch cases done already. So you have your evaluation forms. We have some questions in the group chat. If you have some brief feedback, because we have 15 minutes till the end, so please address them quickly so that projects could take notes and of your valuable feedback. Thank you. Just start, Andy.
I think the first one that I like very much is by Haken. I think he
can you check the connection? Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, now, yes.
Sorry. So I think I like our reach. I think there's the Haken solution is apart from that, I think they are good. The football social app, I think that has a certain value as well, but we really need to find out a little bit more. On my end, I have friends who are looking at investing into social networks that is crypto related. So that would be a very good chance that we can talk the deep. Was it Venkatesh or something? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name. I felt that there's some issues with the subletting of the or maybe something wrong with the whole business model. You know, I'm just wondering. You know, you have launched a working space or co-living and co-working space that you are already like using, because I just find that there's no clear there's no clear path, right at this current moment.
Yeah, so basically it's like if there is anyone new moving into a new place or location, so this spaces concept will be very much useful for them, because they will have everything in one place. They will have their office, let's say in the 7th floor. They might have their apartment in the 2nd floor. Then they might have a restaurant in the 3rd floor. They might have a community hall in the 12th floor where they can organize and conduct meetings. Now, apart from that, they can obviously use our tokens, and they can rent out their rooms with discounted rates. And apart from that fact, they will have a lot of people to socialize. And see, the concept why we came up with this is because when I moved into the UK and I used to go and attend all these events, so the event used to be very lively and I used to learn a lot of information there, and it used to be interesting. And when I used to just come back to my room, it was very depressing for me, because it used to just be like there's no one to interact with, no one of a similar mindset or anything of that sort. So yeah, we are working on the concept and it's pretty much new.
Because we won't be able to give the floor to all the projects to give the feedback as well. First, we would like to listen to the feedback of the judges so that we have all the projects covered. And we also have the chat to supply the information if you need to answer some particular questions of judges. Do we have any more comments from the judging panel? Because we have 5 minutes
Sure. I want to say that the first project is a lot more difficult than it looks to get the kind of community traction that he has. A lot more difficult, and that was some impressive community engagement. I think it would have to be a finer look at it to see how cohesive and real that engagement was. I can't tell just looking at that whether that's just a purchased form of engagement or whether it's really created. I'm not saying it's one or the other. I don't know without proper due diligence. The second project was fantastic in every way and will be a huge success even if he doesn't pay his customers to market it, because they'll all want to buy it. I mean, I'll download it and use it. The third project just isn't ready. I think what you need to do is work on the app. Your app slide looked good. Like, just focus on that and make a good app, and then go and partner with some other firms and just see where it goes. That's going to pivot. It's way too big. It's way too big a scale project. I mean, unless you have someone who's major in real estate on that board, 3 guys, I would say minimum of 3 guys. I mean, Andy probably knows this. He's in Singapore. It's like real estate city. It is a complex and tough and nasty business. It's not what it looks like. You cannot just put it on an app. Even WeWork couldn't do it with $8 billion. And finally, I thought the last project was also, it was extremely interesting, although a little bit hard to understand where the value proposition was. And that could, I think there is a great value proposition. I just think it didn't shine through in quite the force that you may want to. So you may want to rehome the pitch because it looks like something that's a good investment.
Thank you. Any other feedback? Frank?
Yeah, I particularly agree with Daniel on the point that I mean, it's an impressive user growth for the football app. I have no idea how you did it with, and in the first month, more than 30,000 users, and worldwide more than 100. That would be so. If you found anything with which you can attract in that short amount of time so many people, that's amazing. I didn't fully get the business model behind it, so that would be interesting how to. And not only create value for the community, but also capture value for you as a firm. I wasn't deep enough into that. And yeah, for the real estate project, I would also say super tough regarding the fixed costs and all the separate real estate business that you have on top of the of course valuable idea that people should share living, or might want to share living and working together. And there are many. I would be a bit more positive, I think, on that, because there's a whole industry emerging currently for this whole digital nomad type of living. This whole ecosystem is growing quite rapidly, and people are very affluent, oftentimes who live in that ecosystem and are willing to spend. So if you can, yeah, maybe with the digital side of the whole thing, make something useful for digital nomads, then it's definitely interesting. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, I think we're also a bit time constrained, so I keep my comments short. And
so much.
For all of the projects, I always find it interesting. Why do we need to tokenize things, and why wouldn't it work any other way? And that's probably a question I would ask to any of the projects. Yeah, that's always something I'm always curious. What would have happened 10 years ago with a business idea such as the ones you presented? Wouldn't it have not been fundable? Wouldn't have been possible? So that's also something where I think you always need to have a good answer. Why use a technology like blockchain for that?
Perfect. Probably we have Jay's comments.
Yes. Thanks a lot. I appreciate all 4 projects. I mean, everyone that has an idea that went through this really heavy birth, appreciate valuation for your projects. The 3 of these projects, I have some comments onto it. Cybersecurity is something really, really important. It has a lot of potential. The major thing that you consider here is a kind of being between the worlds, combining smartphones, tablets, computers, all of this stuff. This is the really tricky thing to get the attention and of the users. Space IZ is, I mean, I'm in Munich maybe 3 months per year when I'm allowed to travel. Most of the time I'm on the road. To combine co-living and co-working is a huge thing. Maybe you should think about something like business Airbnb, something like this. What would really be tricky or bring me more value is to have a kind of professional services that will simply follow me, that will really bring value when I'm on the road. It's not just about the place. I mean, the diversification of these co-working areas is just, does it look fancy? Does it have something, whatever? But there's no real benefit for me, okay? The last thing, Comtrade, I see a huge market for all of these trading with raw materials, with sources mining, whatever. Here you really would need also some kind of supply chain, whatever, to really show the source, the whole process. Where does it come from? How is it maintained? Is maybe any children involvement into this? This might be something really important. I know that it's really hard to find the best use case for blockchain usage. It's really hard because mostly you can do it simpler, easier, cheaper without blockchain. So really find this. It's in cryptocurrency, it's a valid use case. It's in smart contracting. It's in doing something that will exchange the people. The biggest benefit of blockchain technology is the immutability, and the immutability comes from transparency. This is something, think about it. My 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Jay. And Gianpaolo?
Well, I mean, I know that time is really scarce now, so I'll just be telegraphic. I like the Dimas project Aachen, the number 2, very much. I think it definitely has the potential to be a winner. And I think that the third project about co-living, co-working, I agree with most of the colleagues, not necessarily correlates to blockchain technology, and I see a lot of difficulties across different jurisdictions to apply. But anyway, it's there's a huge market demand for this, but if it's made leaner, probably not necessarily through the use of blockchain technology, probably it can have its own market share. Also, I think that the number 4 has a good potential, albeit limited by industry, although, you know, plastic industry is a huge industry. But anyway, there's a trend in the market with climate change and environmental concerns that will lead us to phase out a lot of plastic production. So it rests to be seen if the model can be scalable, applicable to other across industry sectors, so that we can, let's say, keep the momentum alive across different industry sectors, and not only on the polymers, which is important for now, but we don't know in a few years. And the first one, the football application, much as I like the concept, I think that football fans are already bombarded by a variety of different application games, and not to mention the sport itself. And I don't think that there's a really vast potential for it. I don't think so. Well, thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much. And we have also Adrian. Adrian, please join.
Thank you. I will be very, very short. All the feedback is constructive, of course. The football has a major advantage, and they did something very good. They built very fast a community around this app, and also they built a network of businesses accepting the token. This is very, very important. And even, let's say, if this project in the current form will fail, based on the engagement of the community, they can rebuild it in the same niche, because the people will be there. On Hacken AI, I've noted the app to install it on my tablet immediately, so I was sold 100%. I'm not using anything like that for passwords, and it was very on spot, very in a very simple and effective way presented. About the real estate one, I have 10 years in real estate transactions as an experience, and the market is absolutely great. I'm looking especially in UK, how many people are going to backpackers hotels to stay like 10, 20 in a room, and they are going in the pub with the laptop to work, or in the there is in these hotels there is like a room where people can work. So it's definitely doable. The market is great, but the approach is wrong. You don't need necessarily tokens, you don't need necessarily blockchain, even if you want them, but to start such a project, you need a lot of money. Either you are buying, refurbishing and renting, or you are doing rent to rent, but it wasn't mentioned anything about that. And this is the most important part. How do you structure the business? Because if you are looking now, all the so many landlords in UK have huge problem to pay the mortgages or to receive rent for their tenants. So this was not addressed. And also the fourth project, the Comtrade, it was straightforward, but I believe the business model should be adjusted, because I wanted maybe to see it like in a more blue ocean than in a red ocean. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adrian. So we received all the feedbacks from the judges. We are ready to announce the winner. Actually, most of the projects, they're very close to each other in their results. And still we have a clear winner. It's project number 2, Haken AI. So Dmitry Budorin. Yes, congratulations. Of course, you can continue your discussions with the judges and our panelists after this roadshow panel discussion. And this is just to trigger the direct communication online, just to engage our community as well. So thank you everybody for participation. We are happy that you found time during this turmoil to join us and to have this very thorough discussion. And I'm happy that you were all value-oriented, that we all need to collaborate. And thank you so much.
So are we going to stay online?
Thank you.
If you have some final comments, just one word per each. So please just mention and we go offline, of course.
No, I'll just start then. I guess everybody stay safe. And I believe there are a lot of investors out there looking for great projects. Don't stop, man.
Thank you so much. Okay, then thank you and see you at the other events. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Stay
Bye
safe.
bye.
Stay safe, man.